Hey everyone, welcome to Anime and Games Galore, and today I'd like to show my fairy tale collection. So for those who have watched my One Piece collection video, which you haven't done so already, please feel free to go do so. Fairy Tail is another anime and manga series that's very near and dear to my heart. So, fun fact, I've actually started watching One Piece and Fairy Tail around the same time when I graduated high school. I actually watched Fairy Tail first, but it took me a little bit longer to get into Fairy Tail, and now I lean a bit more towards One Piece. It's a long story, but I don't have as much fairy tale stuff as much as I do One Piece stuff, but as pretentious as this might sound, as I always like to say, the collection doesn't make the fan makes the fan. But with that being said, why don't we start with all the manga volumes for Fairy Tail that I got. So as you can see, I have all 63 volumes that have been released for the original Fairy Tail series, as well as the first 19 Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest series, the sequel to Fairy Tail, that have been released stateside. I think there's 20 or more that have been released in Japan, but in the West currently there are 19 volumes. And I also have some other side mangas right here of some side stories for Fairy Tail. I actually started reading the manga at around volume 50, which takes place right after the part of Fairy Tail before the two final arcs, and then I read up towards 63. I've actually collected the first 49 volumes through manga box sets that have been released. It's a pretty efficient way to collect all the volumes. I enjoy collecting physical manga volumes for my favorite series because I just like knowing that I have all the chapters at my disposal if and whenever I decide to go back and reread them. Same with DVDs and Blu-ray sets. You know, again, I like having a certain show or movie, whatever the case may be, at my disposal, so I can decide to go back and reread and rewatch them. I'm a big advocate for physical media collecting and curating. Let me know down in the comments if you ever want me to make a video about that. But currently, I am actually rereading Fairy Tail. I've already watched all the anime, but as I mentioned before, I've only read the manga from volume 50. Currently, I'm about to start volume 41. I started reading Hiro Mashima's newest manga series, Dead Rock. For those who haven't read it, if you've read the manga or watched the anime Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun, you might get vibes from that series when you read this. So as I've mentioned, I also have the first 19 volumes for Fairy Tail sequel series, 100 Years Quest. This is a series that takes place right after the main story, where Team Natsu goes on the aforementioned 100 Years Quest. The sequel series is actually very enjoyable. I've enjoyed reading it a lot. So as I've mentioned before, outside of Japan and Asia, there are 19 volumes of Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, and in Japan currently there are 22 volumes that have been released. Right here we have all 4 volumes of one of Fairy Tail's side manga series, Fairy Girls. All of these center around the 4 of the main Fairy Tail protagonists, Lucy, Wendy, Juvia, and Urza, as they all go on girls' day outs and vacations, and they encounter enemies while doing so. I haven't read these in a while, but they were a pretty fun read from what I remember. I do really enjoy these 4, but I also kind of wish they included Levi, Kana, and Mira Jane, Lizana, maybe even Yukino, even though she's not part of the Fairy Tail Guild. But again, I still enjoy these nonetheless. These are all members of Team Natsu, except for Juvia. Right here we have all 4 volumes of one of Fairy Tail's other side story series. This is Blue Mistral. These involve the adventures of Wendy, the Sky Dragon Slayer of Wizard of Fairy Tail, and her ex-seed companion Carla. These are just some stories that again mainly involve her. Again, this is another one that I haven't read in a while, but I do remember it being cute and wholesome. But my personal favorites are actually the 2 Fairy Tail S volumes. I'm presuming S means side story or side quest or something along those lines. Some of the chapters from these 2 have actually been adapted as episodes of the anime, so I do consider these 2 for the most part to be canon to the Fairy Tail series, the anime anyway, unlike Fairy Girls and Blue Mistral, which, as far as I know, aren't canon. These two, I love the side stories in these. And finally, right here we have Heroes, another side story by Iramashima. This one is actually a crossover series that stars Natsu from Fairy Tail, Haru from Rave Masters, and Shiki from Eden Zero. Rave Masters and Eden Zero were mangas that Mashima made before and after, respectively, the success of Fairy Tail. Rave Masters I've only read one volume of, and Eden Zero I have read most of, and I've really enjoyed as well. This one's also a good read, especially if you're a fan of all three of these series. Even if you only enjoy just one or two, you know, I still recommend it. Ask me about top 10 anime, or I guess in this case, top 10 manga crossovers. And right here we have the two Fairy Tail original movies released on Blu-ray. Here we have Phoenix Priestess and Dragon Cry. So I did watch these movies quite a while back. I've watched Phoenix Priestess once and Dragon Cry twice. Try saying that 10 times fast. From what I remember, I think I was more impressed by Phoenix Priestess than I was by Dragon Cry. I'd have to watch it again. You can't go wrong with either of these movies. Moving on from the mangas to the memorabilia part of the collection. So starting right here we have Fairy Tail's official flag. I love how Fairy Tail has its own official flag. It's really medieval looking, you know, and it's right here next to my One Piece flag on top of my bed, and one of my nightstands right here, which is pretty cool. So onto the autographed and signed stuff. I have a lot of it. Starting off right here, we have the current headmaster of Fairy Tail, Master Makarov, signed and voiced by R. Bruce Elliott. The character is very diminutive, but his magical ability actually allows him to grow into a much bigger size, like a giant, like the Titans from Attack on Titan, or Dynamax Pokemon, or the Giants from Elbaf in One Piece. So on top of him, we have the Sky Dragon Slayer Wendy Marvel, signed and voiced by Brittany Karbowski. As I mentioned, she is a Sky Dragon Slayer, so she can breathe wind. She actually appears around 50 episodes into the anime, as well as 16 volumes into the manga. She helps Fairy Tail fight Nirvana and joins them formally after the disbandment of her previous guild, the Kate Shelter. She's also a member of Team Natsu, the main team in the anime and manga series. So moving on over here, we have the character Brandish from the Alvarez Empire and formerly part of the Spriggan 12, signed and voiced by Amberly Connors. Her magical ability is similar to that of Master Makarov's, whereas she can grow and shrink in size. Not only that, but she can manipulate other people into doing that too. She doesn't appear till much later on in the series. But down here we have Yukino, signed and voiced by Mallory Rodek. Some of you might know her as the voice of Frieren in Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Yukino, similar to the main female protagonist Lucy, is a celestial wizard. She is a member of the Sabertooth Guild, whom Fairy Tail fought against in the Grand Magic Games. And over here we have front and center we have Mavis Vermillion, the first headmaster and founding mother of the Fairy Tail Guild, signed and voiced by Leah Clark. She is long since deceased, but she appears on the show in a ghost or spirit form, which is pretty interesting. Right above her we have Kana Alberona, signed and voiced by Jimmy Markey. She is a magical card-wielding wizard. She's also the daughter of Gildards, one of Fairy Tail's most powerful and prominent S-class wizards. And she actually almost became an S-class wizard herself until the Grimoire Heart Guild invaded her training grounds, Tenro Island, or Sirius Island if you read the manga. Down here we have Urza Scarlet, another S-class wizard, very powerful and prominent as well. She is a swordswoman, and her magical ability allows her to requip, that's what the ability is called, into different armor. Urza is signed and voiced by Colin Klingenbeard, whom many of you might know as the voice of Monkey D. Luffy on One Piece. So right next to her we have one of my favorite characters on the whole show, Juvia, signed and voiced by Brina Palencia, who voices Tony Chopper on One Piece. I actually got Urza signed by Colleen when I got Luffy signed on my One Piece poster, and I got the Juvia print when I met Brina Palencia and had her sign Chopper on my One Piece poster. So Juvia is a water-wielding wizard. Her ability allows her to manipulate water. And she actually has a pretty obnoxiously obsessive crush on Grey Fullbuster, one of the main characters. She actually joins the Fairy Tail Guild after her previous guild, Phantom Lord, whom she was actually an S-class wizard of as well, disbands. She unfortunately does not retain her title after joining Fairy Tail. But so down here we have a little portrait of Natsu Dragneel made by a friend of mine, the anime-eyed girl. I'll have a link to a YouTube channel that she's part of, the AEG Studio, down in the description. She, her husband, and a couple other people on there actually do anime parody dubs, but she's also a very talented artist. I had this commissioned right after I met her, because at that time I was obsessed with Fairy Tail. And up here we actually have a note that they wrote to me as a thank you for being so supportive of them, and they know how much I love Fairy Tail, so they doodled a whole bunch of Fairy Tail stuff on there. Shout out to you guys, thank you so much for both of these. Moving on, we have the main trio of the show. Starting off, we have Lucy Heartfilia, who is a celestial wizard. She's able to summon celestial beings from her keys. She is signed and voiced by Jeremy Lee. My best friend actually had Jeremy sign this for me. This was before I met her. I have since met Jeremy. She is absolutely wonderful. She does an excellent job of voicing Lucy as well. So over here we have Happy, the X-Seed, signed by Tia Ballard. I've not met Tia Ballard yet, but I did actually get this for my birthday. Shout out, Mom. I'd love to meet Tia Ballard someday. But front and center we have the Ethereus Natsu Dragneel, Natsu in his END form, or Ethereus form, signed by the man, myth, and legend Todd Habercorn. I've met him twice. He's terrific. This was actually signed the second time I met him. He's a fire dragon slayer, and so he's able to summon and use his abilities to cast fire. Happy is actually his X-Seed companion, because cats on the show are called X-Seeds, and Wendy's X-Seed companion is Carla. This card right here, Queen of Spades, was signed by her voice actor, Carla's voice actor, Jade Saxton. So, fun fact, this is actually the first item I've ever gotten autographed by a voice actor. Jade Saxton is the first voice actor I've ever met at a convention. Right here we have this little print right here. It looks like a coaster, but it's not. I would not put any drinks on it because it is actually signed by Hiro Mashima, the mangaka for Fairy Tail himself. My best friend actually did get this signed for me at New York Comic Con 2017 when Mashima attended. Mashima did actually attend New York Comic Con again in 2024. I did actually go that year, and I even went to a panel that he hosted, which was a lot of fun. It was really cool to see him in person. I didn't get like a one-on-one time to meet him, but it was still really cool to see him in person. Right here we have this Natsu plush right here, which was also given to another one of my best friends in England. So shout out to her. She and I are both big Fairy Tail fans. A few other Funko Pops that I have that I was unable to make room for on the shelf above my bed. I just wanted to show really quick. Right here we have Natsu Dragneel in his normal form, also signed by Todd Habercorn, his voice actor. This was actually signed by him the first time I met Habercorn. Over here we have Mira Jane Strauss, signed and voiced by Monica Rial. She's also an S-class wizard like Urza, and her magic power is Satan's soul. Which allows her to transform into a demonic form. But when she's not in that form, she is as precious as can be. Over here we have a pop that unfortunately is not signed, Grey Fullbuster. So he is an ice wizard. He's also a member of the main team Natsu. I haven't gotten him signed yet. He's voiced by Newton Pittman in the Funimation Crunchyroll English dub, but he doesn't really attend many cons, so I don't know if I'm going to get this signed by him anytime soon. I'd like to, though, but still really cool to have him. So that is my collection of Fairy Tail merchandise, memorabilia, signed items, manga volumes, and Blu-rays. This collection is about 8 years in the making, and I'm really proud of what I've accumulated of it. So please feel free to let me know down in the comments if you collect anything fairy tale related and what your favorite item is. Let me know also who your favorite character is, what your favorite guild is, and maybe your favorite English dub voice actor too. But yeah, until next time, this is Scott from Anime and Games Galore signing out. Thanks for watching.